All right. Welcome back, everyone, to Daily DVR. We've got a great show for you today. It's Friday, but I'm going to release this on Monday. This is going to be our Memorial Day special. Isn't Monday Memorial Day? I think
No,
it
it's
is.
the other one. It's Labor Day.
Labor Day.
Yes, it's two.
Yes. I like Labor Day better than Memorial Day. It's a little happier than memorializing, right? We
Correct.
just we just don't do labor. I like that. I'm all for that. Check us out at dvrpodcast.com. Today with me is a good friend, a podcaster who actually just did, what was it, your 400th podcast?
That is correct. No, man, not my 400th episode of my podcast. I've probably done like 1,000 podcasts at this
Yeah.
point.
But of the Delvin Cox Experience,
Correct.
which is an awesome show. And Mr.
Thank you.
Delvin Cox is here. How you doing, buddy?
Doing pretty good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I've been looking forward to talking to you. I was on your show a little while back. We had a lot of fun.
Yes.
And of course, way back in the day, we covered the Winter Soldier, Captain America, Winter Soldier, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Remember that?
Yes. I
Back in the
remember
day
that.
with our friend Mike of
We
One
covered
Mike
a couple of
fame.
shows. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. We did some other, and we'll talk
We
some
did
Marvel
we did
stuff too.
WandaVision, I think. I want to say we did most of the Marvel shows.
Yeah, that was
Them Gen
fun.
1. Yeah, it was real fun.
That was a different time in the
Yes.
world.
People were a lot more happier then.
But I want to talk about your show because I was just listening and we were talking about before we started because I want people to listen to your show. Is basically I don't want to just have you on. I also want to say, go listen to the Delvin Cox Experience. You were talking to this guy Carmine Sabia, right?
Yes, that is
And
correct.
I listen to your podcast all the time.
Thank
And
you.
one of the things I love about your show is you start off by say what you say in the beginning because I don't want to butcher it.
Let's see. Welcome to the Delvin Cox Experience, the podcast, which each week I'm on a one-man mission to unite our culture through diversity. I'm your host, Delvin Cox.
There you go. Unite our culture through diversity. I love when you say that because your show is so diverse and it really makes me think and listen to people's opinions that normally I would shut up. I would just shut it off. But
Yes.
because you're there and I trust you and I know you, I listen. And the way you let people talk and express themselves, and then you always stand up for your opinion, what you think. But the way you do it is always just, hey, this is what I think. This is what you think. Let's learn from each other. And I love it, dude.
Yeah, that's always been kind of I guess, a core competency of mine because, like, even when I started the show, I've always tried to challenge myself by having people on who didn't always have the same perspective because that helps you learn.
Yeah.
When you talk to people that you don't know, their background and things like that, you learn from them and you kind of can help them learn from you. And if you learn from each other, we don't necessarily make the same mistakes we normally make. I think that solves a lot of problems, honestly speaking.
I hope so.
Yeah,
It challenges me
I look at it
because,
like this. It's a lot harder to be racist towards somebody if you know them
yeah,
and you know their character.
yeah. To hate anyone for any reason, right?
Correct.
I think that's really interesting. And then, like I say, it does challenge me because there is this thing of people saying these days, you don't want to platform that person, right? Like you don't want to give someone an opportunity to say something that you might disagree with, but you do that. You allow people to speak their mind and then you say yours, and it's just a way of learning about other people. How do you feel about that though? Do you ever think about that?
I do actually. And it's been like, it's always like a touch and go, that type of thing. But
Yeah.
one thing I've always come to the conclusion with when it comes to things like that is these people are out there. Like based off our last election, there's close to 70 million of those people out there, maybe a little more. And the only way you're going to reach these people is have conversations with them and get their
Yeah.
understanding of why they feel the way they feel, and kind of just maybe kind of have a common ground.
Yeah. And it's not just limited because we're talking about, I'm not talking just about Carmine himself, but you have
In general,
yeah,
yes.
all different types of opinions and different types of people that come on your show. And you always give them an opportunity to speak about themselves. And I just wanted to start the show by complimenting you because I
Thank
really
you.
do enjoy your show.
I,
And
I appreciate that. I
yeah,
one thing I've always done with my show is I never stray away from issues that matter to me. Like, I'll be straightforward with, like, trans rights are important, LGBTQ rights are important, Black Lives Matters things are important. But also I respect and care about everybody in general because everybody has an opinion. Everybody in the point. I don't want to say all lives matter because all lives matter is a thing that people have tainted
but I
and made.
understand what you mean.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
my whole thing has always been unity. Like, uniting people together, bringing people to one accord. And we may not agree on everything, but the one thing we should have in common and we should care about is the lives of humans, no matter where they come from, is important
Yeah.
and special.
Yeah. And interesting too.
Yeah,
And interesting, right?
yeah,
Like even if because it can be sometimes hard to convince people to care and be empathetic and love. That can be hard. So it can sometimes just say, "Hey, it's interesting. You learn something new, and then later on, might stick with you and get you open more." But I think what you're really talking about is love, man, right? Like you
yeah,
have to kind of
yeah.
open yourself, see
I,
what's different, try to understand, be empathetic for why people think the way they think,
I'll
even if
give you a
it.
quick story about that. This
Go
is a recent thing that just happened. One of my friends, I won't say her name, but she just transitioned. She's trans. She just did fully transitioned to a woman. And through this process, I have been talking to her about, because she was nervous about it. She was confident that she wanted to make the full transition, but she was nervous. She lives in Canada. She was nervous about, going out on her own because she has to go like she stays in one part of Canada. She has to go like on the other side of Canada to get there, catching a bus, going out on her own, going through the process of getting this transition and stuff like that. And just and her whole mindset was never that she wanted to not do it, but the excitement of because I've asked her about this, the excitement of her whole life she felt like she wasn't in her right body,
Yeah.
something I could never understand. And now I talked to her. She's had the surgery, was successful. Now I talked to her and she's learning who she is and like becoming like she feels whole. And when you hear somebody say, I never felt whole, then after having an experience like that and saying I feel whole now, I feel complete and I feel more confident in myself, it's an amazing thing. It's something that
Yeah.
me and you can never experience. And it's just like, stories like that
Yeah.
inspired me to keep doing my show.
Yeah, that's awesome. But then in a sense, I think to myself, though that I have not and will not experience that, I can experience other aspects of myself in which I had to challenge myself to change
Yes.
or be something different, right? And we can kind of try to find that within each other, that human experience, you
Yeah,
you can
fatherhood's a big like that.
yeah,
Cause I know,
yeah.
I don't know if I can speak for you, but I can speak for myself. Before I had kids, it was a complete different experience.
Oh
Just
yes,
wild man
totally.
living life, having
Yep.
fun. And then you have a kid and you transition and you start changing, making
That's
adjustments to
true.
life.
Yeah, you become
There's
a different
certain
person.
things
Yeah.
you don't want to say,
Oh man. Well, my son is just about to turn 13,
Oh,
so we're going into it. You know what I mean? Like he's going through a big transition himself. So that's something that I'm dealing with, and it's very interesting. It's been interesting because I'm a stay-at-home dad and maybe kind of transition out of that too because he doesn't need me as much as he once did. So I
you
have
will
to become a new person in
you
that
will
sense.
learn that as my son's 19 now, you will learn as a dad they're gonna always need you.
Oh,
Like
see,
it
that makes me
changes.
feel good. I
It
like that. Yeah.
changes. The
Yeah.
dynamic changes,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they're gonna always need you. Like
Yeah.
my son, even now, like, you ain't ready to go to college? Get out of my house now. He's like, oh, like I am, but I
That's
still
true.
need my
That's
dad.
true. That's true. Right. And they're going to need you to do laundry too.
Yeah.
That's another thing that he'll definitely need me to do. All right. Well, I had some things I did want to chat with you about.
Okay.
because, as you said, we did do a bunch of Marvel shows, and I
Yes.
consider you to be a person who has a great knowledge of the films and the comics and the culture that surrounds it. And I'd like to check in with you about the whole, not particularly Marvel versus DC, but now that we seem to have both of them entering new phases that people are excited about, or are we excited about it? How did I'm assuming you got a chance to see Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four.
Oh, I saw all the this phase's
Yeah.
movies thus far.
And you saw Superman too?
Yes, I did.
And are you up to date on Peacemaker? Are you watching Peacemaker?
I have not seen season 2 yet,
Okay.
but
There's
I
only two
know,
episodes so far,
yes,
I
I
think.
know the gist of what happens and how they're changing the multiverse and things like that, and how
Yeah.
they're retconning the story. Yes.
Yes. Okay, that's interesting. Let's start there. How do you feel about what James Gunn did with Superman? And how do you feel about kind of the overall discussion about the canon, the restart of DC? How are you seeing it?
I love it, honestly. I Peacemaker, out of all the original DC shows from that previous regime, I get we can call it that little weird middle phase that they
Yeah.
had, where like, hey, Blue Beetle's here and the Batman's here, and like we don't know if it's gonna go with the other regime, but we're,
Yeah.
we're gonna just do it. Peacemaker
It's
is my
on the
favorite part of
schedule.
it. Yeah, Peacemaker
Yeah.
is my favorite part of that. I
Yeah.
actually love Peacemaker because it was so unique and different from everything else. It had a Guardians of the Galaxy feel to it, but a little bit more blue collar, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
I really love it. John Cena is a very endearing character as Peacemaker.
He's so vulnerable and awesome. And he's almost like he has like he really is that kind of the epitome of like a big teddy bear.
Yeah, he's
You
a
know what I mean?
lovable jock
Yeah, yeah,
with like a heart of gold. It's weird to
yeah.
say that, but yeah, he almost had like a school bully vibe, but it's like a school bully after you realize, oh, he's just looking for attention.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
Right. He'll beat the shit out of you and then he'll be like, let's be friends.
yes,
You know?
and I really dug that about the show. It was really endearing.
Yeah.
I loved season 1 of Peacemaker. I loved the style of it. I loved the music. It was just it was, to me at least, TC putting their stamp in things and making themselves different from what Marvel was doing.
Yeah.
And
I
that's why I
like
like about
that too.
Peacemaker a lot.
Yep.
Peacemaker, and I felt like Blue Beetle was that as well. Blue Beetle doesn't get
I
enough
enjoyed
credit for
Blue
being good.
Beetle.
Blue Beetle was really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. It was good. And I liked the kid too who was in it.
Yes.
I liked the whole family actually. I just felt that the problem with that is I felt it fell victim to what a lot of these films do is it was a little rote, it was the same kind of story, it was a little overly long. I think it could have been tighter, and it did feel as though you didn't know where it fit within the continuity of the whole canon and like you said, you knew
Yes.
even as an outsider there was this weird kind of like meta feeling of like, well, this isn't really going to matter because they're redoing it. So it was kind of strange that way, but overall I didn't think it was bad.
Yeah,
And
I
I thought
like
it
Blue
was kind
Beetle.
of fun.
I
Yeah.
think what made Blue Beetle fun to me is and I think Peacemaker has a little bit as well. The familial element in it,
Yeah.
where Jaime Reyes has his close knit family that's ride or die with him, and it felt almost like a '90s superhero film in the way they did that with George Lopez and his character, talking
Yeah.
about conspiracy theories,
Oh yeah,
and
I forgot about that. You're right.
and
He was
and,
great
and
in that.
yeah, and
That's
and his
true.
family kind of being like these people who know he's a hero or find he's a
Yeah.
hero, but are ride or die with him. It was very uniquely, and it was very fun. It's a very fun movie.
Yeah, I liked it. And Peacemaker is great too. What'd you think of Superman?
I like the direction they're going with Superman a lot. I think it's a needed direction. I think, and this is not to knock Zack Snyder's version of Superman. I think Zack Snyder's version of Superman was too dark.
Oh yeah.
He felt too powerful at times. Well, through most of it. And it's cool to see Superman that powerful and kind of doing the things he was doing. But I like that this Superman feels like a lot closer to comic book Superman, and also feels vulnerable as a person.
Yeah. I
He
loved
has
it, man.
feelings. He has emotions.
Yeah.
He almost is like naive. Like he feels like a farm boy who grew up in Kansas, as opposed to this alien who's all powerful, who's just trying to protect everything. Like even the way this Superman tries to handle and solve the problems of the world, he's like, well, we just hey, this country's invading this other country. I'll just go over there and stop it. And they're like,
Yeah.
it's a little bit more to that. It's a little
It
more to it
is.
than that.
Yeah.
And he's
I
like,
like
nah,
what you
why
said,
not?
naive. Yeah. There's like a naivete that he has, definitely, where he thinks that there's a simple answer to be good,
Yeah,
right?
to
Which
be
is
good.
simple to him, but to other people, it's not, it's very
Yeah,
complicated. I
it,
loved it. I thought Superman, and I thought the whole message. Now, I was not, I should say, I make fun of Zack Snyder, and partially I make fun of it because I think it leaves itself open to being made fun of because it comes off a little bit like a 14-year-old kid wearing like an AC/DC t-shirt or something. Like it's a little, you
correct.
know what I'm
It
saying?
does,
Like it's not
and it's
it
pretentious,
yes,
which is
exactly.
weird.
It's very strange. It's a lot of reasons. But I actually did like parts of all of the movies that he
Yes,
made, and I understand what he was trying to go for there. But I agree with Superman. This kid, what's his name? David Cornsweet or Cornsweat?
yes,
I think that he is, I said this and it shocked my friend Andy here on the pod. He's my favorite Superman. After this movie, I was like, that to me is the best Superman I've ever seen. Now, I know we grew up with Christopher Reeve. I understand all that. I don't, that's important to people. But for me, the way he had that kind of, he got angry when he and Lois were talking. He's like, but I was saving people. Like that to me, to be able to have that kind of anger and frustration, but also be naive about it is pretty difficult to pull
yeah,
off. And they really
yeah.
did it really well. He sold me completely.
He had a lot of range, and I think one scene that kind of stuck out to me is like through most of the movie, he is this kind of I wouldn't say happy go lucky, but this naive superhero who cares about the common man, who's trying to do the like saving squirrels and stuff like that. But there's this one moment where he thinks Lex has hurt his dog,
Yeah.
and his eyes turn red. He's like, "Oh, there's that fire that we
Yeah.
we want to see
That's
in
awesome.
Superman in
Yeah.
terms of comic books." Like, yeah, I like the fact that when you have scenes like that that make you earn it
Yeah.
for this
Definitely.
Superman.
That's a
Instead,
good
as
one.
opposed to with Zack Snyder Superman, he's already at 10.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And then they have to try to explain to you how he got there after
Yes.
instead of watching the progression and being able to kind of travel with the character and with that emotion. That's a great way of putting it. He's
Yeah.
just there from the beginning. And not that I don't like Henry Cavill because I think he can
I
be
think he's great.
amazing in some stuff, right? Like in that I loved him in the Mission Impossible. That's often
He is really
forgotten, but
good.
he was great. Like when he
I
punches the sink and it like he's what's he
I
gonna be? What's the next thing he's doing? I forget. It's another.
I forget. I
Oh,
told my son
Highlander.
this. Oh, he's gonna be good in that.
Yeah, he's doing
I
Highlander.
had a conversation with my son after we saw Superman, and I was telling him, and I thought this would be really fun. If they wanted to kind of put a bow in the Zack Snyder universe and do something fun with it, I would build this Superman up and build the Superman universe up for a little period of time, and then I would make an Injustice movie. And in my Injustice movie, I would let Henry Cavill be
Oh, that'd be
Superman
great. Yeah.
and let Ben Affleck be Batman again, and they would tell the story of Injustice. And
Yeah,
how,
that'd be
and if,
cool.
if you play the Injustice games, you know how it ends. Spoiler alert for the Injustice game. The old game is well over 10 years old. They bring in another universe Superman to beat that Superman. So I can see them bringing
I
in
like that.
David Cornsweet's Superman to take down Henry Cavill. And I think it'll be really cool to kind of just tell that Injustice story.
Hey, if they didn't, as long as Zack Snyder doesn't direct it, I'm all for
Yeah, I think they
it.
can do. I think they can
I
do a lot with those characters.
Gunn has won me over because I like the way he, like you described, he's big on family and groups and people coming together and people and what he is good too is like the found family. It's that same thing in
Yes,
Peacemaker and in Guardians of the Galaxy. We make our own families through who we choose to love, and that I like that a lot because that is actually something that's missing, I think, from a lot of the Marvel universe where you're kind of like, why are these people a team again? And
yes,
that's why when we see the team of Green Lantern and Hawkgirl and Mr. Fantastic, and they're like, the corporation brought us together, and they're kind of pricks, it's actually more believable
yes.
than, when they get together as the Avengers and they're kind of like, well, we all really don't like each other that much, but I guess we got to go save the universe.
I like. There's a lot of parallels to the Thunderbolts and these newer DC movies. I was saying this to
Yeah,
my son that the Thunderbolts
that was
feels a
good.
lot like a James Gunn
Yeah,
movie, where you have
yep,
these unlikely heroes coming together to fight this foe, and then the foe is not what you seem it to be.
yeah, yeah. That was great. That was great. I don't know if you knew, we a while back when that came out, I did an episode with a guy I grew up with who's a therapist,
Oh,
and he does cognitive behavioral therapy, and he was really inspired by that film and its message. And we talked a lot about that too, about found families. And that you're right. That's one of the reasons why I like Thunderbolts and I liked Fantastic Four because it had the feeling of the people wanting to be together, of the
yes,
people not just thrown together. And I think that's something that Marvel, it's good for them to invest in that, like kind of the core idea that, hey, we like these people and we want them to be a family and work together. And I'm part of it too, right?
yes. I think one of the biggest flaws of these past phases with Marvel is, in my opinion, they didn't give us enough time to sit with these
Yeah.
characters they're bringing in. They're just kind of like shotgun blasting. Here's this character. Here's this character's
Yeah.
movie. Here's this character's movie. Here's this character's show. Here's this. Here's that. Whereas the previous phases, okay, you got Iron Man. You got to get like 2 or 3 movies with Iron Man. So you're going to know Iron Man.
Yeah.
Here's Captain America. You got 2 or 3 movies with Captain America. Even if, during the phases, you got phase one, you got Captain America, First Avenger, then you see him in Avengers, then you see him here. But it was just these set amount of characters that they focused on, which were the first 6 Avengers. Then they slowly added on other characters. So by the time you got to Infinity War, you knew all these characters very well. So
Yeah.
when you saw them on screen together, it worked.
Yeah, and they were not, and you couldn't see that they were a piece of a puzzle
Yes,
towards a next film, which is what, when the new, it's like, oh, the new Ant-Man movie is out. Why is it out? Well, it exists to explain what the multiverse is and the Pym particle
yes,
and all this. Oh, so you mean it doesn't really matter. It's just kind of expositional in a sense. I'm
yes,
not, and then it made all the character stuff that they did try to inject into it feel very ham-handed and kind of weak because it felt like that wasn't they were rushing through that to get to the part where it could connect to the other movie or the TV show.
correct. Like even like I was having this conversation with somebody the other day. Like, you've introduced a new Black Panther, and we haven't seen them since that movie.
Yeah,
You've introduced Shang Chi. We haven't seen Shang Chi since that movie
yeah.
years ago.
What about the Eternals?
The Eternals. You introduced this whole Eternals and this whole system of what's going on in
Uh,
these higher powers. We haven't seen any of them. I think we got a look at a quick look at a celestial in a Brave New
yeah,
World. That's the close we got to the term. Like before, with the other phases, we would have seen those characters 4 or 5 times, at least by
yeah.
now.
And
And
we
we have
care about them
we
in
care
some
about
way,
them.
right? Yeah,
Even
and
when,
their story.
even with the Thor movies, some of those Thor movies back in the day were misses. But we saw Thor so many times, we got to relate and like that character. So when we saw him in Infinity War and Endgame, he mattered to us. And I don't
Yeah,
think we have that right now. I think that's the biggest problem.
yeah.
Like
Well,
there
what
are
do you
people who
think?
didn't know, like people didn't know Sam was Captain America still.
Yeah, and that movie to me, I wanted to like it more than I did. I felt it was, again, I felt like even the people making it weren't quite sure why we're making this and what we're doing with it. I didn't really love it.
My problem with that movie, and I look Captain Sam Wilson Captain America is my favorite Captain America. And my biggest problem was with that movie is the movie really wasn't about Sam Wilson. It was about he was like a side character in his movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you could have just reined all this other stuff in. Okay, you're making an Incredible Hulk movie. Why not just make the Incredible Hulk in this movie, or
Yes. And and
make this part of She-Hulk?
yeah.
You know,
And
but
Bucky coming in and all that kind of I don't know. I do you have do you have hopes for what's coming next in the what do we have coming next? We have the new there's another Spider-Man and then the two Avengers movies, I think. Is there anything else between that?
I don't think there is. But I do have hope because, to my understanding, the Captain America movie was kind of the last of the old guard movies before they changed over
Yeah.
to before I think Kevin Feige and the Russo brothers got like directly back involved, like fully into it again. So the Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four are kind of the new regime.
Yeah.
And because of that, I think those movies were pretty solid. They felt like the older MCU movies. So based off of those, I feel like they have a good foundation to kind of lead us into Doomsday.
I hope so. What did you think about the casting of Robert Downey Jr.?
I think it was needed. I also think it was desperate. It was desperate because it felt like, okay, we need to bring back somebody that people can relate to and get the fans hyped for. Let's bring back Robert Downey Jr., who will be hyped to come back to this role anyway, which is cool. I don't have a problem with Robert Downey Jr. being Doctor Doom because I probably think he's just a variant, which makes sense. He's a variant of Iron Man essentially in this
Do you
universe.
think that now they said when it first came out they said no, we're not doing that. But then I'm like, come on, they have to do that. He looks like him. He has to be.
Some sort of variant, or they
Yeah.
just, or I would think probably they're just not going to show his face. But I wouldn't think they would not show his face because it's Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah. They've got to. I think they have to do it that way. Can it makes sense too because if you tell the story, they both are scientists, right?
Yes.
So it would make sense that he could be kind of like the core of him is the same, but then it's a different kind of story, right? Like he
Yeah.
could still be super smart and pompous and you know what I mean? Like he can still kind of be a similar character.
Yeah. And I think what'll probably be really interesting when they tell this story is when we get to, Doomsday, it'll be really interesting to see how other characters react to seeing him as Doom. Like,
Yeah.
the last time Peter Parker
Yeah, I was gonna say Spider-Man. Yeah, that's a
saw
big one.
him, that was his mentor, and his mentor passed away. That was like
Yeah.
his inspiration, his mentor. So now he's gonna see him in an adversarial role, or maybe not an adversarial role, because maybe he's like, oh, you know, I would imagine Doctor Doom would have interest in Spider Man of
That
some
seems
sort.
like so long ago when I think about the scene of them two together, you know?
Yeah,
That seems so long ago. How long, when was that? Gosh. It was like a couple, I don't know, 5 years ago. When did
might have
that,
been.
when did those Avengers movies come out?
Whoo! It's a long time ago. A really long time ago. Now I gotta look this up real quick while we're doing this up.
I agree with you. I have hopes because I think they are getting back to the kind of centering on the characters. They say they're going to do less of the TV shows, which I think is a good thing. I think doing the films is a good idea. I felt in the beginning I was into them doing the TV shows, but I see that they're never going to do them in a way that is as important as the films.
I agree.
And that is, that's a money thing and that's an industry thing. So I just have to accept that. And they have to make the films better and maybe do a lot less of the TV shows.
Endgame was 2019.
Oh, that's not as, see, that's not too long ago.
That's not too long ago. Yeah,
6 years, 5, 6 years ago.
yeah.
It's not
I like the
bad.
TV shows a lot. I just think that the TV shows kind of convoluted a lot of things,
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah.
and it kind of muddied the waters. Like I said, like I was saying earlier, you've introduced all these characters now, and we haven't seen them again. Like like Hawkeye's been around. Hawkeye is an assistant apparently. You know, She-Hulk is there. Then you
Yeah,
have
she's married to Josh Allen now, man. That's crazy.
that is crazy. You have all these characters. You have Daredevil that's just around fighting
Oh, I
crime.
forgot about that. Yeah, that they brought
Like
that back.
then Wanda is everywhere. Like it's like okay, and you have Loki, probably the god of the universe. Like this is too much
Yeah,
to think about and put in. Like
it is. Though I
it's too
do look
convoluted.
forward to the Vision show. That should be very cool.
Yes, I
I do
agree.
look forward to that. But doing less of them, having them be important and interesting, or just even if they're standalone, I think that these movies can be fun when they return to that kind of feeling. But I am a bit more excited about DC at this point. And I did kind of come up reading more DC than I did Marvel. I was more of a DC person. I'm interested to see what they do with Batman. I thought that the casting, what's her name, Millie Alcock from the Game of Thrones show from House of the Dragon as
Yes,
Supergirl. That was interesting in the way they portrayed her. I think that could be kind of fun as well.
yeah, I agree.
I like Gunn. See, when he tones it down a bit, I would like him a lot more because I think sometimes with the Suicide Squad stuff and then some of even in the Guardians of the Galaxy, I think it was like maybe a little too many needle drops, a little too relying on the style over the substance. But I think he pulled it back, and Peacemaker especially, I would suggest to watch. I mean, I only watched the first episode of season 2 so far, but it actually has a little bit of a different feel. It feels a little bit more confident. And one of the
Okay,
things I wanted to ask you about, because you know about comics, one of the things I've noticed, and I don't know if this is a thing, which is it seems in the Marvel universe, when there is a new technology or weapon or power, they have to go out of their way to explain to you how it was created, how the backstory, what it does, all this kind of stuff. But one of the things that Gunn does is like in the Superman movie, Lex Luthor can walk into different dimensions. They don't go back and show you how he built the machine or how he just has it and he can
yes,
do it. And that's one of the things that if you have you noticed that and is
I
and
have.
okay, I find that very confident and I really like it when they just say, this is the power. They can do this. This is the way the world is.
I appreciate it because it just tells us essentially like, hey, this is a comic book movie. Don't take this too seriously. Just enjoy the ride. We don't have to explain
Yeah.
every little detail of things that we're doing
Yeah.
here. Just
Yeah.
enjoy the ride. This is what happens. Let's just go from there. Sometimes when you try to explain every little, well, he can do this because of tachyons and this and that, it becomes overcomplicated and convoluted. Like, okay, whatever,
Yeah.
just fine. We want to see Iron Man be Iron Man. You don't explain how he becomes Iron Man like that.
Yeah, that's one of the things is Marvel became obsessed with having to, it's like with Star Wars, you have to fill in every gap of every second that happened in some person's life, and it becomes a bit too much. It's like I don't care that much. I
Yeah,
want to see things propel forward instead of continually going back.
yes. Sometimes you got to just move forward. And I think when it comes to Star Wars, the things that's been received the most positively has been the things that's been moving forward. The things with just unique characters like Andor. People love Andor.
Yeah.
And Andor is just a unique show because it doesn't really touch on anything. It's all new characters and stuff like that. People like Skeleton Crew a lot.
Yeah.
When they keep going back to the well of, like, even I like Obi-Wan, but people didn't like Obi-Wan that much. People didn't like
Yeah.
Ahsoka as much as they liked them.
Star Wars is sad, man. I can't. I hope somebody can do something with it. I loved it so much growing up. I went to see the prequels. I like the cartoons. The new films were very disappointing to me, but I get into the TV shows and The Mandalorian and get my son into it, but it never quite seems to find its way. Maybe it just needs someone to lead it at some point. And
Yeah,
maybe Filoni seems like the guy. Maybe if that's really what they're going to do and they're going to let him take it over, I think it could be successful.
I agree. I like the Mandalorian a lot. The Star Wars shows have their hot and cold shows and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and I think that's the problem. Just need to be more consistent. I think the movies, I can't tell you a further drop off that I've ever experienced with like watching like a trilogy of movies than 7, 8, and 9.
I know, man.
Maybe the Matrix,
When you
because
and I try to convince myself I like it, I still do, and I want to, but it's not. They're
because
not good.
I
Not
loved
good.
Episode 7 so much. Like, I was like, Episode 7
Yeah.
was one of those Star Wars movies that I watched, and I was anticipating Episode 8. I was reading the other scripts that was for it and things like that. The scripts that they had for it originally and stuff like that for Episode 8. I was super psyched for it. And when I watched Episode 8, I was so disappointed. I was
Which
like,
one? What is that? The is that the Ryan Johnson one?
yes,
Oh, I like that. I thought that was
I did
good.
not like that one at all. I
But I
it,
could understand why you didn't like it. See, I'm not going to argue for it, right?
no no
Like,
I,
I can understand that too because I liked it for certain aspects of it. Do I think it's a great movie? No. But
my
for certain aspects, I enjoyed.
my thing was the Ryan Johnson one. I felt like he would have been good making a separate Star Wars movie that wasn't connected to this trilogy because
I'll agree with that.
it felt so disjointed from everything in Episode 7. Whereas Episode 7, to me at least, set
Yeah,
up,
no, I agree with you. I agree with you. Now,
yeah,
if they had maybe gone a different stayed in that direction, we might not feel like that, but they made
yeah,
such a course correction to go back to
it
what
messed it
the
up
other
even more.
that it exactly. And which I
Yeah,
think overall shows that I think there was no vision for it. They didn't really know what they were going to do. And that can sometimes that can work out, but in this case it didn't. And there's way
yeah.
too many cooks in the kitchen and it got to be so big. And when I even think about certain characters, I'm like, why are they even in this?
Yes,
Like
because I
it's
was
yeah,
like, in episode 8, I'm like, where's Finn at? What is going on? Like,
I,
you set up Finn, Ray, and Poe to be the main characters in Episode 7. I'm like, okay,
yeah,
this is kind of this generation's Han, Luke, and Leia. I'm down with that. That's awesome. Then Episode 8 happens, like, no.
yeah. It just everything. Yeah,
Everything was turned
that's
on
why
its
it
head. Like,
just yeah, it doesn't have a direction. Hopefully, it would be great if it could find one. Which brings me to a question I have for you.
okay,
I had asked you if you were up to speed with Alien Earth. You said you watched the first two episodes.
yes,
Now we're covering it, and we've talked a lot about the show. And I think the show is awesome. And I think it's a great example of an IP, a universe that we kind of grew up with, that we've loved. We've seen some shitty alien stuff. We've seen
very,
some question, right? We've seen
very,
now you get something which, this isn't spoiling anything. Episode 3 and 4 are even more awesome. And episode 4 in particular is just it just kind of blew me away. Even the way it looks, sounds, the directions they're going in. Is there and you may have been asked this before, you may have asked people, is there a universe or IP out there that you think could be given this kind of Because having seen the first two episodes, you can see it's a very expensive, kind of artsy,
Yes,
high class treatment. Is there a universe you think that would serve itself well from going in this direction instead of going in like the more poppy Star Wars direction, going in like the we're going to be more artsy film, like just kind of trust an auteur to do this?
I have one
Oh, all right.
that I think would work really good as a TV series. The Riddick universe.
Oh, I like that. That's interesting.
I think if the Riddick movies, I think are incredible. I think they're really good.
I like them too.
I like that. I think if you bring the scope down just a little bit, because the last one he made was a low budget movie, he did really well with.
Yeah,
If you keep the scope in a low budget range and just build on that world with Vin Diesel as Riddick, I think you can make a really great TV series.
I like that. I find that interesting too. And that has the same aspects because Pitch Black was very artistic.
Yes,
And who was that again? David Toy, right?
that's
Is that how you
correct.
pronounce it?
Yes,
Yeah, he was really good. I like those films. So they did, wait, how many are there? There are three of them?
three, and there's an animated film.
Right, I was going to say that. Where that kind of does that fill in the gaps
Yes,
leading
and
up
there's a
to it?
video game. Well, two video games
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
that also fill in the
Oh,
gaps.
I like that. What in the last one, because the first one is where he's basically the prisoner. The ship crashes, and we figure out that he's not a horrible guy,
Correct.
right? And they kind of work against these monsters. And then it gets bigger, and the mythology develops of who he is, the race of being he is, from what planet he's from, and all that, right?
Yes, and he goes to he's trying to go to Furia, and he ends up becoming like a king or something like that in the second one.
Yeah, yeah. And then that's what isn't the third one kind of like he is has been king for a while and very powerful, and there goes on a new adventure. You're making me
Correct.
want to watch these again.
Yes,
I
the
think I want
third
to watch
one
these again,
is a lot like the first one. Like it's very much very similar to the first one,
where he
but
finds himself back in that situation after having
yes,
been powerful,
yes,
right?
and it's just the third one is a lot like the first one. It's just way more violent. Like
See, I
it's like they
like
turn the volume up to like a 10,
that's
which is
my
great.
if you asked me what my favorite Vin Diesel IP is, it would be that.
Yeah, mine's too.
Because I mean, I do the Fast and Furious is fun. Gets a little bit too much with it's about the family,
Yeah,
but it is fun though when they're rolling like big balls down the steps and all this crazy shit's happening.
yeah,
But I feel like I always kind of felt like Vin Diesel to me. And maybe that's because I remember him coming up when he was in Saving Private Ryan, and he
yep,
had a short film which was called, ah man, it wasn't called Two-Faced, it was a variation on that, and it was that's what got him attention, and I remember seeing that and being really impressed by it. Or it was called because he's biracial,
yes.
so it was
Multifacial.
multifacial. There it was. I knew it was that word was in there somewhere, and that's what that short film is about. And he really acts in that, and it's really good.
Yes, it is. It's very
So
good.
yeah, so I always felt like to me, Vin Diesel, I kind of feel like secretly he may like win an Oscar in the next 10 years or something, like be in some movie where he drops the pretense of being the tough guy, tries to be an actor again, and surprises everyone.
It's kind of funny because Vin Diesel and Dave Batista are very similar
Yeah.
in that type of range. I think Batista has more range, but
And
Vin Diesel
vulnerability.
in vulnerability. But Vin Diesel, before he kind of, and I think this is the problem with the Fast and Furious movies. They're good, they're entertaining for what they are, but they kind of made Vin Diesel a caricature of himself.
Yes. 100%. He takes it
And,
too seriously.
And I think that's
Yeah.
why he works so well in Guardians of the Galaxy because he's only saying I am Groot.
Yeah.
But but I think the Fast and Furious movie, while they made him a lot of money, I
Yeah.
think it kind of shortened his range and things. Because
Yeah.
he's done
Yep.
movies like Multifacial, he's done Strays, he's done Saving Private Ryan. Well, he's a pretty good actor in
But
those
we
movies.
but we know, man, that's what happens with a lot of the tough guys, right? Like they get to a point where they take it happens to them all. It happened to The Rock, Stallone. If you go back to Stallone, Arnie, Jean-Claude Van Damme, you get to a point where you're taking yourself too seriously and you become a character of yourself, right? And then it's what is, do you then understand that that happened and kind of make fun of yourself and you can have a bit of a resurgence? Like, remember Jean-Claude Van Damme did that movie called Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Very good movie. Yeah.
I really liked it, right? Like, you kind of make fun of, like, I think Arnie knew when to turn to comedy. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? Stallone had a big problem. He kind of pushed himself out of Hollywood for a while because he took himself too seriously.
Yeah. I heard somebody saying this today about Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I realized it's pretty accurate. That Arnold Schwarzenegger, in his most of his film career, if you look at his films, he loved taking risks.
Yeah, he did.
Like he
Yeah.
did roles that he probably shouldn't have did, and they worked out. Like him
Yeah.
being the Terminator was a risk.
Yeah,
Him being
definitely.
Conan the Barbarian, him being a last action hero, playing these very different roles.
Yeah.
He's very good. Arnold
I'm a
Schwarzenegger is a
fan.
very good actor.
I'm a big fan. I've listened. My wife is going to hear this and start laughing, but she knows I have listened to Arnold Schwarzenegger's autobiography like about 400 times because the guy who reads it, Arnie reads a little of it, and then another guy has a very soothing voice. So I know like his entire life.
Oh,
And what you just said is exactly his like main ethos of life is
interesting. I
I
never
take,
heard his
yeah,
autobiography.
he always says that. That's like, I'm telling you, he's always like, I take a risk. I see something, I say, I'll do it. Like he just always had that attitude.
Yeah,
And
just
the
the whole
things he did were
idea
crazy, man.
of him being this big action star and like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do Twins,
Yeah.
and they worked. Like
Yeah. It
Kindergarten
was,
Cop's a wild movie, by the
I
way.
can't remember who it was. It was someone like, oh, I've listened to it so many times, but I can't remember if it was Milton Berle or Lucille Ball who told him he always thought that people thought he was funny. And he didn't know, though, whether it was when he came to America, it was because of the accent or they're laughing at him. And then it was some old Hollywood person when he was doing Pumping Iron and he met these people. He
Yeah.
kind of was like joking around. Oh, he was a guest on some Lucille Ball show. And she
Okay.
said to him, "You're hilarious. You should be a comedian." And, he did the action stuff after, but it always with him, he always wanted to do comedy. Because, I mean, obviously the dude is pretty funny. He's a funny
And
guy.
he's very charming.
Yeah, definitely. I love Schwarzenegger. I know you did a show when Hulk Hogan died.
Yes.
You did your show about kind of like he has a questionable life, but then he is an entertainer that you appreciate as well. And I
Yes.
could say the same thing for Arnie. Like a lot of those choices he made maybe weren't the best. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? In his personal life too, like, having a kid with his maid and not telling his wife for 10 years. But then he owns up for that in the book and he talks about it. And it's just he has a way about him where he just kind of says things, he's very blunt. But anyway, I hope that Vin Diesel can get out of his phase and find the comedy and do something. Because I think a show like that could be funny and cool too.
Let me ask you a
Bring it back
question.
to that. Yeah.
Bringing it back to a little bit of stuff we were talking about right now. Do you watch the movies of the older actors from our generation that they release now? Like the Van Damme movies, the Van Damme action movies. Stallone has a few.
Well, let's see. I did watch when Stallone did Escape Plan.
Okay, yeah, that
I've
was a
seen
good
a
one.
couple of those films. I did watch when one of One of my favorite films of recent memory, action films, but now it's like 10 years old, is when Jean-Claude Van Damme came back for oh my God, I always forget the name of it. But oh, was it Time Cop?
Um,
It was one of his old
you're
um
talking about Universal Soldier.
yes, thank you. The Universal Soldier. When he did that, that was amazing, I thought. It was great action in it. I watched that, but and I have seen Stallone on Tulsa King.
Oh yeah, he's pretty good in Tulsa King.
Yeah, yeah.
I
But
I
not a lot of the other stuff, not really. I'm not one to tune into it.
I bring it up because there's a lot of like Van Damme movies that I never saw that came out like recently that aren't too bad.
Really?
Like they're pretty decent. Like he's not doing the whole crazy. It's kind of like he's going the Liam Neeson route of things.
Oh,
He's
okay.
still doing like
Okay.
a couple
Okay.
kicks and punches, but it's not like it
Yeah.
used to be.
Right.
Like it's
It's like
one
more of a
called
thriller.
yeah, like this one called Darkness of Man. I watched it not too long ago. Like, oh, this is actually pretty good. Like he's in his he's doing this like range thing where he's still putting out action movies. They're pretty decent to say the least.
Interesting.
But I found myself enjoying them. Pound
Oh,
of
maybe
Flesh
I
is a
should.
good one. Darkness of Man, what? Darkness of Man got a sequel. Yeah, he's been out some pretty decent movies. I highly recommend them if you like some Van Damme. If you want to watch some Van Damme movies and get like kind of like the flashbacks of the old Van Damme movies, he's pretty good.
All right, I'll check it out. See, I should tell my wife about that because she's always looking for kind of she is a big like action movie fan. She loves that shit. So
Well, she'd
she's
probably
always
like him because
rewatching.
I've watched some of these movies. Like these are actually pretty good. Like they're surprisingly good. Like okay, these are
Well, you know what?
enjoyable.
It's a genre that could be sneakily doing stuff right now that people aren't paying attention to. Because that's just like back, I mean, now everyone sees that horror films, they can do so much genre bending, and there's all these great low budget horror films. But there was a time when people weren't paying attention to them as much. I like to see a resurgence of action films because I'm a big fan of stunts and practical effects and
Yes,
good
me too.
fighting. The movie I was talking about was Day of Reckoning, Universal Soldier Day of Reckoning,
Yes,
which has some of the best hand to hand combat, which it really stars Scott Atkins.
who is a very good actor.
Yes, and he's in a lot of crazy action stuff, you know?
He
He's
was
done
in
a lot
John
of good
Wick.
stuff. Yeah, he's
John
been
Wick
in
4.
big and small. You know what I mean? Like he'll do it all. As long as he can punch someone in the face, he'll show up on set and do it.
Yeah, he's really good. He's very underrated.
Yeah, he's great. But that, if you've seen Day of Reckoning, you've seen that Day of
Ooh, a
Reckoning.
long time ago. I enjoyed
Yeah,
it. I used to love the
yeah,
Universal Soldier movies.
yeah. That's some good stuff. I like when that comes back around. But that, oh, okay, all right, Delvin. Well, we've been talking for about an hour. I don't know. You have anything else you want to talk about?
Oh, this has been a blast. I guess I could talk about a
Yeah.
couple things I could bring up. Um,
Oh, I like. Okay, go.
I didn't talk about yes. I guess I can talk about it now because it's in the work of progress. October 31st, tentative date. I'm announcing this here. So if
All
you listen
right.
to this is the first time announcement. I've only told like two or three people about this. Halloween. I have an audio drama coming out.
Nice.
It's gonna come out if you listen. If you're a Delvin Cox Experience fan and you're listening on the Delvin Cox Experience thing, October 31st, I have a Blade audio drama releasing on the feed.
Nice. Can you tell us more about it?
No.
Just that it's a
Well,
Blade audio drama.
yes, it's a Blade audio drama that I'm producing that's
Okay.
coming out October 31st. I can tell you a little bit more about it. The main character is not Blade,
Interesting.
it's his daughter.
And how many you had have you produced this already been, are you producing it now, getting all the voice together,
We
writing together?
we're
How you doing
finishing
it?
the script up. We're gonna start getting we already have Blade cast already. But we're gonna start getting the actors for it this month.
Well, hey, I've got a voice. I'm available.
I will hit you up. when we start
If
the
you
casting.
you need like a newscaster or something,
I got you. Like I
that
say,
could be me, right?
we're gonna start casting. We'll probably put in the casting calls probably like another couple weeks or so.
I like it. That's exciting, man. That's
Yeah,
fun to make. That's
I have a lot
interesting.
of friends who. I don't think we talked about this. I have a lot of friends in the voice acting community. I've done
Yeah,
voice acting. I play. I was gonna say I played. No, but I'm still am actively playing John Stewart Green Lantern in the Justice League Mortalverse. So, and since I've been doing that for a while
yeah.
now, I said let me try. I'm a big Blade fan, so I said let me try my hands in a little bit of this. And my friend Brian Hawkins, he writes comics for a living. Like that's his thing. That's his bread and butter. He writes comics, and I'm like, hey Brian, would you want to write a Blade audio drama? He's like, really? Like, yeah, let's make it. He's like, yeah, okay.
That's
So I said, you
awesome.
write the script up. My other friend Crystal Storm, who created Star Wars a Legacy or audio Star Wars audio drama series,
Yeah,
which is excellent. I'm also in that. Um, I said I went to her and I said, I'll get the script together. You get the voice acting together. We'll make this happen. And she said,
that's
I'm down
cool.
for it. So yeah,
That sounds
Blade.
like a lot of fun.
It'll
That's
be a lot of
very
fun.
cool, man. How are you going to be involved too? I've never done anything like that with sound effects and and setting the mood and everything like that. I like that kind of stuff. I've never
Yeah,
really done that aspect of podcasting. I know we do a lot of where we're just talking to people. That's a
yes,
whole different world of creating the sound and the mood and the tones and all that kind of stuff, you
yeah.
know?
I've done some. I've read some. I've done a couple of audio projects like that. Never to this degree. I've always been an actor on them. I've never been like a producer or
Yeah.
help make it happen and stuff like that. But yeah, this is gonna be fun.
That's awesome. Well, I know that they're very hot too, man.
Oh yeah,
That's a
they're
big
very
thing
hot.
now.
I
People
highly
like this.
recommend if people are comic book fans, check out the Mortarverse. It's created by Matthew Dawson. I play John Stewart Green Lantern in that. He has several shows on there. He has one for Green Arrow Canary. He has Justice League Mortal, which is, if you remember this, Axel, Justice League Mortal was originally supposed to be a George Romero Justice League movie.
Oh yeah,
He took that script, remade it, and made it an audio drama.
that's cool.
And then that the audio drama blew up, got like a lot of listens and stuff like that. So he just kind of made his own DC universe off of that, in which he made so far he has Justice League Mortal, he has Nightwing the series, he has Arrow and Canary, he has House of Mystery. Now he has Batman Beyond, which is debuting today.
Nice. Very
Really cool.
cool. October 31st. Heard it here first.
October 31st,
I
Blade the
like it.
series.
That's
Special
very
Delvin Cox Premiere
exciting, man.
special. It's gonna be great.
Congrats.
Thank you.
That's very cool. I can't wait to listen. I like that. That reminds me of the old timey on the film list. Heath and Andy were talking about Dick Tracy.
I
Remember
used
the
to
old Dick
listen to those.
Tracy? Me
I was
too.
a fan of those Dick Tracy audio dramas and stuff like that, and that kind of inspired
Yeah.
me. I used to watch. I like the Dick Tracy movie.
Yeah, that's what they were talking about. That movie was that really set the tone in that kind of outrageous comic book style. That was pretty awesome.
Warren Beatty was is a surprisingly very good Dick Tracy.
Yeah. Well, that dude can do anything.
Yeah,
I mean, what an actor.
very underrated comic book movie.
Well, if you're interested in hearing about it, check out the film list at dvrpodcast.com and check out Delvin Cox Experience. Tell us all how we can find you in other ways as well.
You can find me on Blue Sky at Delvin Cox. You can find me on X if you're still on that godforsaken app. Delvin underscore Cox. Um, if you want to go on Facebook, I'm on there as Delvin Cox. And you want to go on Instagram, I'm on there as Delvin Cox. But,
You're like, if you want to go on there, I suggest you don't, but if you want to
yeah,
go, I'm there.
I'm
All
there.
right. This was awesome, man. It's great talking to you.
Likewise, bro.
Um, yeah, we got to do it again soon.
We
And
will.
I look forward to hearing that audio drama. That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
very
it's gonna be
cool.
fun. I think people are gonna like it a
Yeah.
lot.
I like that. Very cool. All right. Thank you, Delvin. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Check us out at dvrpodcast.com. For those of you on YouTube, thanks for checking us out. Subscribe, all that. Hit us up on the Patreon, patreon.com/DVR. And also, I will put in the show notes how to find Delvin's podcast and all that good stuff. And you can hear about, because I think you were when you were talking about that Mortal Voice, you did an episode with him too
Yeah,
of your podcast. Yeah, that's what I was
yeah,
looking for because that was not too long ago.
yeah. We just recorded an episode talking about Batman Beyond.
Yeah, awesome.
It's gonna
All
be. It's
right.
really good.
Thanks again, buddy.
No problem, brother.
Appreciate it. Take care.
You too. Peace.